Hi, today I will teach you how to deploy carbon copy contracts with SmartC. I have here the initial page of SmartC, and I will deploy as a carbon copy the SmartC NFT contract that is already deployed on testnet. We have the testnet explorer, and I will open the SmartC page to get the contract address. We can inspect the details here. This is the contract details, but we need the deployment details. Let's click on ID and check more details. This is the information that we will need to deploy the carbon copy. Of course, we need the source code of the contract. On the help page, I'll get the new version of the SmartC source code. And we can compile the source code to check the machine code hash ID. This is a 176685, and if we check the details, this contract, it's not on here on this page, is the other. We can check that the code hash ID is the same, 176685. Okay, we only can do the carbon copy with the same code hash ID. If you have another one, so it's not possible, something wrong can happen. On SmartC, all values that are defined as const are set up upon deployment. So these values here we can change, and we can keep and we will keep the same machine code. So for example, I can define a new owner for the contract. Let's get a an ID for a new deployment. And let's say that this collection that we will deploy as a carbon copy will have only 4 items. We can just rename the items like item 1, so let's delete all the other collection names. Also, we need to set up the start owner only for the 4 first items. And then we can compile it again. So as you check here, there was another compilation. The machine code hash ID is the same. So I'm running here a local node for the deployment. And I put here a passphrase for for the account that I want to deploy the contract. So until here, nothing is different about how to deploy a carbon copy and a normal contract. If I just set here the broadcast, I will set to false, so I can just test if the transaction is will happen. So we can check that the transaction was made. So we have here an answer from the Signal node, but it was not broadcasted. What is the big difference to deploy the carbon copy is to use the referenced transaction full hash. We need to get the full hash of the first time that the contract was deployed, and use this field here. So we are back here on the first time that the contract was deployed, and there is a field here with the information with the full hash of this transaction. We just copy that and we paste here on this field, and I will make here a test again, so you can check that I can submit the transaction just happen again. One big advance about the carbon copy is that you can deploy the contract paying less fee, because you don't want to pay the fee to deploy a new bytecode in the blockchain. We can just use this full transaction hash to inform the node that the bytecode will be the same. So let's make a test here, and we will use the minimum fee allowed for one smart contract deployment. This is 0.735 sigma. Let's try again, and we will use the submit button, and the node now answer us that we are using a fee that is insufficient for the transaction. The node is asking us the fee to be 2 sigma to deploy this contract. To make this the magic happen, we just delete the bytecode. So now the node will not use the bytecode that we sent. It will look this transaction full hash to get the bytecode for our contract. We click submit again and check now that the minimum fee that the node asked us was 0.8 sigma, and then we can get this fee that the node asked us and paste here. When we submit button, so now we can deploy the contract paying a fee that is much less than the original one, because we don't have to pay the space for the bytecode again in the blockchain. So if we are ready to deploy, we just use the broadcast transaction to true, and then we can deploy the contract. So now we have a transaction. This one was broadcasted. Let's check on the testnet explorer here and pending transactions. Okay, we have a transaction and the contract is deployed with this ID. I will open now the source page, the source code for the SmartC testnet page, and I can change the smart contract ID. I already opened the important part here where I can set the new smart contract ID, and we can check if this smart contract was already deployed. So this will take some minutes. We will wait and come back later. Okay, the message was processed, and we can test our new page. Okay, so we have here our new smart contract deployed as a carbon copy. The address is this new one here, and we have the 4 items that we set up previously. Okay, thank you very much to watch this lesson.